Let's talk about how to build a speaking business in 2019. Welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Biz show. My name is Simone Vincenzi. I'm your host, the co-founder of GTeX, where we turn experts into authorities. And today I want to talk about what you need to put in place to build a speaking business in 2019. Now, a lot of our clients are speakers, and they always come to me and they say, "Oh, Simone, how do you get 200 speaking gigs every single year? How do you make so much money from events? How do you get paid speaking gigs?" And I've got this question over and over and over again, and I want to discuss in this particular training what are the trends that are happening right now that will impact the entire 2019, and it will impact your business as a speaker. Because the more you know about your industry, the better you will be able to perform, the more gigs you will be able to have, the more money as well you will be able to make, and the more people you will be able to help. So stay tuned because it's going to be a very jam-packed episode today. I want to start first from what is the most important thing that you need to get paid as a speaker. And this is something that a lot of speakers actually don't, they overlook, they don't consider, or they don't think is really important. In fact, actually, a lot of speakers think that in order to get paid as a speaker, you just need to have a great talk. Well, that's a small part of the entire ecosystem that you need to have in place. Because you can have the best talk ever, and you can have a great structure, people can follow you, but if you're boring as hell at delivering that presentation, if you're not engaging, if you're not able to convey emotionally what is the concept that you want to deliver, then no one is going to pay, and no one is going to buy. In fact, actually, let me say that delivery is equally as important, and if not more important, than the structure of your talk and the content of your talk. I mean, you can have the best content in the world. We can all use as an example my university teacher. So I started university. I haven't finished it, but I started university and I started studying history of art because I was very passionate about philosophy, about art in general. And I said, well, at least it's going to be something that will stimulate my mind. And there I was, 7 o'clock in the morning, in a dark room with a presenter, with my teacher that was about 70 years old, and I was speaking in the same tone consistently for 2 hours, like this, in a dark room, looking at PowerPoints. And I mean, I've been doing this for you and with you for only 2 seconds, or 10 seconds, or 1 minute. Imagine 2 hours like this. But isn't this what happened with many speakers? This is the funny thing. And I think that one of the things that is stopping speakers to get being booked is the fact that actually they are not as great as they think they are. And this is a very harsh truth, in particular for a lot of speakers to learn, to understand, and to acknowledge. Because a lot of people think that just holding a microphone makes you immediately a great speaker, makes you immediately entertaining, makes you immediately in a way that people will listen to your talk. But that's not true at all. Not true at all. There are different things. I mean, just considering what I've done this year to improve my speaking skills. Not only I had a lot of speaking coaching, no matter I've been doing 1,000 events in the past 5 years. So I'm not shy in terms of speaking on the stage, and I've invested now more than 40 grand on my speaking training because that's what makes a difference in my business. The better I communicate, the more clients I make, and the more people I can help. So think about what you are doing for your speaking. What are you doing to become a great speaker? Because if you're not doing anything about it, you're already out. You cannot get paid as a speaker if you're boring. You can't. And this year, for example, I took a stand-up comedy course. Nerve-wracking. One of the most difficult experiences I've ever encountered in this industry. But I did it. It went out even really well. I started taking up magic as well. So, how can you stand out as a speaker? Because remember, you are not just in the content industry, you are in the entertainment industry. And if you're not able to emotionally, intellectually, feel in your heart, entertain the people that are there listening to you, it doesn't matter what style you're using. You don't have to be a comedian to entertain. But what can you do to entertain more the audience? Because the more entertaining you are, the more they will want you back. Not only because of the great content. Every speaker has great content most of the time. I never heard a speaker saying, "Oh, you know what? My content is rubbish." I don't. You know what? No, I don't have great content. Most of the time, the content is life-changing. But if people are not awake enough, or they don't want to listen to you anymore to get and absorb this content, you will never be able to get the clients that you want and to get the gigs that you want. So that's number one, delivery. Delivery, delivery, delivery. This is what will make the difference and why speakers are not getting gigs. And if someone doesn't want you to be on their stage and you approach event organizers and they say, you know what? No. Most of the time, it is because you're not good enough. That's how I started. I approached different event organizers. I was full of confidence, but the reality is I was rubbish at the beginning. I mean, I cannot even look at myself back 7 years ago when I started. Horrific. But what I did, because no one wanted me to get on their stages, I started my own events, inviting speakers, and in the meanwhile, I was learning about speaking. I was practicing or hosting the events. That's how I started, because no one wanted me there. And now I don't even know where to turn because everyone wants me to speak at their events. So how can you become better? And value delivery. And I got to say thank you, massive thank you to Caroline King, because she has been a great help today in helping me, making sure that I took the delivery of my presentation to the next level. Caroline King from Sovereign Speakers. So this is something I've done personally. Doesn't matter how much money I'm making as a speaker. Doesn't matter how many people I'm impacting as a speaker. It doesn't matter how many gigs I have. More than 200 gigs every single year for the past 5 years. But I'm still there looking at what can I do next. In fact, for me, next year is going to be the year of magic. I'm going to implement magic in all my talks, in all my speeches, in all my seminars. Because it's a way to just no better way to get people attention. No better way that I found. So let's move to point number 2. I think we're now ready to put to point number 2, which is what do you need to monetize your speaking business? What are the things that you need to monetize your speaking business? Well, once you're great at delivering, now you need to have a product or a service. You can decide in which kind of product or service you can have. You can decide to sell from the stage, so your clients is the audience. Hey Jacqueline, thank you very much for joining. So your clients then becomes the audience. That's where you can see how can you make money, how can you monetize your expertise. And then the other way to monetize your expertise is to get paid up front by an event organizer. Two very different industries, two very different dynamics, two very different ideal clients. So let's look at both sides. Let's look at first at selling from the stage. Now, if you want to monetize an existing business, you can use speaking as a marketing tool. And that's my preferred way because I can earn way more by selling than by getting paid as a speaker. And it's way easier as well. That's been my experience and also my zone of genius and my opinion. But so when you are selling a product or service, what you need to have is a great product. It's something that people want to buy. So that's the simplest thing you can put in place. I mean, ask people what they want, because if you're already speaking and no one buys your product or services, it means that what you have created actually is not that good, or considering that you're good as a speaker. Because if you're not good as a speaker, the product or service might be great, but they don't want to buy from you. Now, let's say you're good as a speaker, but people don't buy. It means that the product or service is not good enough. It's not good enough for people to say, I want to invest in you and in your product. They might want to invest in you, spend more time with you, but not in what you're offering. So how can you create a better offer? Well, let's think about what Suze did. Suze is one of our clients, Suze McLean-Pond. Absolutely incredible. She doubled her business this year. She was already making 6 figures. Now she's making multiple 6 figures in her speaking business. And one way that she did to come up with a great product, and this I think was genius, very simple. And I'll tell you this, she was to sell something. We had a session and she said, I don't know what I'm going to sell. I think I'm going to sell something, but I still don't know what is that package that I'm going to offer. Is a next level of clients. They already bought my membership, so I'm going to see what I'm going to do on the day. I said, okay, that's fine. So what she did on the day, she asked the audience, what do you need? What do you want me to do for you? And so she put a flip chart up and she started writing all the things that they wanted, that this audience wanted. And then she said, well, what if I do this for you? Would you be interested? Now, it took 30, probably about 20 minutes to create it. And she had a product that the audience wanted to buy. They were willing to give her money because they said what they wanted. And she said, I'll give it to you. So don't overcomplicate the creation of your product or services because your clients have all the answers. Every time you don't know if a product or a service is going to work, ask your clients. Or ask people that can be your clients if you don't have clients yet. Go into a room, deliver a talk, and say, what do you want me to do? What will be so important for you that you would say, yes, I'm going to give you my money right now? And then you create it for them if you can, of course. If you have the confidence that you say you can deliver, then absolutely, go for it. Because if you don't have the right product, if you don't have the right service, you can be an amazing speaker, but people are not going to buy. And then you will be there wondering, oh, why didn't they buy? Maybe I'm not good enough. No, it's not about you. You are good enough as a person. You might not be good enough as a speaker yet. You might not have a good enough product yet. But these are things that can improve, that can change. And they are not connected to who you are as an individual. As long as you have their interest and their wellness and their well-being in your heart. If that's the most important thing for you, then you're already a winner. So now you're working on improving the skills and the strategies that will allow you to make this happen. And that's how you're going to monetize your business as a speaker. Then if you have any question, guys, for those of you that are watching live, let me know any questions that you have, because I would love to have a conversation around this. If you're watching maybe you're watching on YouTube, or you're listening to the podcast replay, then thank you for listening. And if you have any question, just pop into the Facebook group, Explode Your Expert Business, and ask me the question there if you're watching the replay. If you're watching live, then this is the moment. Now let's transition to speaking, to getting paid as a speaker. There is one thing that you need to get paid as a speaker once you are an incredible speaker. First of all, of course, you need to be great as a speaker. Otherwise, an event organizer is not going to pay you money. Secondly, you need to have content that is relevant to the conference or to the events that the event organizer is putting on. But also you need to have an incredible profile. You are not getting paid as a speaker if you're not known already as an authority in your industry. This is the difference. A lot of speakers, they say, I want to get paid as a speaker. but no one knows about them. No one knows about what they do. They never have done even that many free speaking engagements. They don't have a great topic that is different from what other people are saying. They're not even that great as a speaker, but in their mind, they think, well, you know what? Let me ask an event organizer to pay me a few £1,000 or a few $1,000. Can you see how not logical this is? But event organizers now are paying really good money, but they are paying for celebrities, they are paying for industry leaders, they are paying for people that have shown up consistently. And that's what speaking bureaus, event organizers are paying for. Ask, for example, Maria Franzoni. She runs her own speaking bureau, and that's what she's looking for in one of the speakers that she has in her books. For example, my wife, Lovelda, she is on her books. But why? Lovelda's been speaking on stage since she was 12. 12 years old. Jeez, I mean, there's a lot of time. And on top of that, she's been doing it professionally. She has hosted her own events. She spoke for free hundreds of times. And she really knows her stuff. And on top of that, if you look at her profile online, it shows as an authority in their industry. Why? Because you can see that she's been on TV, you can see that she had her own radio show, you can see that she is creating a lot of online content, you can see that she has a following. All these things, they are crucial for an event organizer to say, I want to work with you. So event organizers are looking for social proof. That's what event organizers are looking for. Are you great as a speaker? Do you have the social proof that you are an authority in your industry? And if you can't prove that, do the work. Do the work. It's not that it's not possible to get paid speaking gigs. It's possible. There are a lot of event organizers that will pay for it. But do you have what they are looking for? No? Great. Do a lot of free speaking engagements, sell some of your product and services, so to create income and generate income in that way, and then go and approach event organizers. Once you have a great website, once you have a great show reel, testimonials of event organizers saying how amazing you are on stage, testimonials of people in the audience say how brilliant you are on stage. All these things are crucial to get paid as a speaker. So this is one of the talking about what you need to monetize the speaking in your speaking business is two things. If you're selling a product, an awesome product, if the product is yourself and your talk, you need to have an awesome profile and to be already an authority in your field. Otherwise, they will not buy from you. We have a few comments here, which is Jacqueline. Thank you very much for joining, Jacqueline. So she says that I have had people who are interested in writing their story and become an author as part of an anthology. How do I get them there? I am an author myself. So what do you? I don't understand the question. So they want to write their story and you want to help them in writing their story. So in this case, then you become a writer for them. If that's what you mean, please let me know, and I will answer your question at the end of, and I will answer your question here at the end of the show. So far we talked about, let me just do a quick recap. So far we talked about why speakers are not getting gigs. So this is number one. Why speakers are not getting gigs. We already said it. Delivery, delivery, delivery. Are you already a great speaker? Most of the time, speakers think they are better than actually what they are. So invest in your speaking training, invest in becoming great in delivery. Second is what you need to monetize your speaking business. We already said you need a great product and service, and if you are the product or service, so you're getting paid to speak, then you need to be already an authority in your industry. Otherwise, people are not gonna pay you. Simple as that. Now, I want to transition and talk about the one thing that you need to do that will get you booked. And that's something that speakers don't do. The majority of the speakers don't do. And this is the number one thing that a speaker should do in order to get booked. And it's very simple. Very simple. But you know, we all think that to get results, we need to do all the fancy stuff. And most of the time, people don't do the simplest thing. to get the results they want. So you want to get booked. Who is booking you? An event organizer. Great, it means that you need to contact event organizers. How many event organizers are you contacting on a weekly basis? 100? 50? 20? 30? 200 a week? 1,000 a month? If you're contacting 5 event organizers a month or 5 event organizers a year, how are you expecting to get paid speaking gigs? Please explain this to me. If you're not getting in touch with event organizers, how are you going to get booked? I don't know. I haven't found this answer yet. Well, of course you can do your prayers. Of course you can do your meditation. Of course you can visualize. Yeah, let's visualize that a speaking gig is going to fall on my lap. What if you send an email to an event organizer? What if you actually go to an event where you want to speak at and connect in person with that event organizer? What if you call them? What if you create a list of 1,000 events that could be a good fit for you to speak at and contact all the event organizers on that list? Would you get a couple of speaking gigs? The answer is yes. And the great thing is that once you speak, then if you're good, they will book you again, and they will book you again, and they will book you again, and they will book you again. So this becomes like a snowball effect. But if you don't take the first action, which is contacting event organizers, then don't complain if you're not going to get speaking gigs. Now, I'm not going to talk about how to get in touch with event organizers here. We have an episode of a podcast called 15 Ways to Get Speaking Gigs. Type on Google, go on our podcast on www.gtex.org.uk/podcast, 15 Ways to Get Speaking Gigs. You will find it. Okay? So there are tons of ways to get speaking gigs. At the beginning, if you're starting out, it's going to be not that easy. But the more relationship you build, then the more event organizers you will connect with, and the more they will introduce you to other event organizers. Generally, I get 3 gigs every event organizer I know, because I speak for them. Then I ask, do you know someone else? And they say, well, Simone, you've been brilliant. And I said, thank you. So let me connect you with other people. But again, I've done the hard work. So I have a great product, I have a great service, and I'm a great speaker. And then I'm going to move on to the next part, which is getting the referrals and getting in touch with event organizers. Is it making sense? Awesome! Yes, we got this. So contact event organizers. If there is one thing you got to do to build your speaking business in 2019, if you're already good as a speaker, is to contact as many event organizers as possible. That's your number one priority. Because everything else, every other part of your business will be dependent from this activity. You contact the event organizers, means that you get the gigs, means that you get the clients, means that you get the money, means that you get to help people that you want to help, means that you get more gigs, means that you get a client, means that you get the money, means that you help more people, means that you get more gigs. You see the way it works. Fascinating and simple. So get out there. And now if you have personal stuff saying, well, but I don't know if an event organizer is, what if they say no? 9 times out of 10, probably at the beginning, they will say no. And so what? They're not telling you, oh no, you're a bad person. They're saying, what you're offering right now, or the level you're right now is not good enough for the vision that I have for my event. That's what they are saying. Which means that you can become better and then approach them again in the future. I had so many events that I pitched them, and they said, no, we don't want you on the stage. 3 years later, they said, hey, would you like to speak at our event? That's 3 years later. But in those 3 years, I've been sitting around, whining and complaining and saying, oh my God, how hard is my life? Oh, people are not booking me. Why? No. Got out there, got the gigs that I could have, spoken a lot of schools for free, a lot of community centers for free. Everywhere I could, I was speaking. And that's what made me have the network that then allowed me to have all these gigs that I have right now. So do the work, become better, and contact as many event organizers as possible. So now this is the one thing to do that will get you booked. Bloody contact event organizers. All right. So we can look at here. Now we have a few questions. Ryan Windsor, the one and only Ryan Windsor. Great to see you, buddy. Thank you for joining. Where can you get some great speaking training? Also, can you explain the difference between being good at speaking and a platform seller, selling from a stage? Okay, so let's look at great speaking training. Contact Caroline King, sovereign speaker, best speaking training on the planet, in my opinion, because she looks at all the different ways in which you can get out, in which you can share your message in a way that captures the audience attention and the audience feel emotionally what you're talking about. Love their style, loves their training. So Caroline King, sovereign speaker, I'll make an introduction. And also the other question, which is, can you explain the difference between being a good speaker and a platform seller? Well, there is not a real difference. So being a good at speaking, you need to be good at speaking if you want to have a speaking career. Otherwise, you can use speaking, but they will not give you a speaking career. You can use speaking to get more clients. You can use speaking to promote your message, but that will not help you stand out because people will forget about you the moment you step out from the stage. So good at speaking is a given if you want to become a great speaker. Platform seller, it means that you are using speaking to get clients. So you're not getting paid up front, or you might still getting paid up front, and on top of that, you also sell a product or a service. That's why it's called platform seller. It's just a fancy name to say I'm a speaker to sell my products or services. So that's the main difference. And then you have the paid for speaking, where you are getting paid up front, but you're not selling, which in my opinion, I think people think is the holy grail of speaking. I think is very limited because, the top you're gonna get paid. I mean, if you're looking at Richard Branson, for example, he would charge $250,000 for a speaking gig. I made, the most I've made in one day, I've made, I think, about 200K in one single day, and I'm not Richard Branson. Nowhere near to the profile that Richard Branson had. So I think and that's Richard Branson. So the majority of the keynote speaker, they have a fee from the top one from 5 to 10K, and that's the majority, which can make on a free event with few people in the room. So I think that's in my opinion. But also, I love that style of speaking, and I love selling. Not the hard way of selling, the running at the back of the room and stuff. It's not for me. But there are ways that are more authentic to myself and to who I am. And that's why I decided to go down that route. Because also by getting people to work with me, I can even have more impact than just a keynote and then leaving them there. I don't like that personally. But that's personal decision again. Some people, for example, Lovelda, my wife, she gets paid to speak. And she loves that. She's an event host, an event organizer. She will create an incredible experience as a host, as MC for the attendees of that large conference or event. And she will get paid really well to speak over that 1 day or 2 days in that large event, or even a smaller one. And that's her choice because that's what she loves to do. So you find what you love to do. So I hope I have answered your question, Ryan. And Jacqueline says, I'm interested in speaking about how to become an author for those who are interested in writing their own book. How do you work out if the event organizer if you're not sure what category your service or products fits into? That's a very good point, Jacqueline. So if generally is entrepreneurs, so any time in your industry, talking to entrepreneurs is a great niche because they will use their book to promote their business, through their story, and they already know that if they're working with experts, they already know that a book helps them to have a greater authority. So they can also monetize it back because they can tie the book with the product or services that they have. So for you, for example, speaking to entrepreneurs and any events that target entrepreneurs is a great starting point. And then you will refine again your ideal clients more and more the more you work with them, and also get more specific about this kind of events. But at the moment, start targeting all the events that have entrepreneurs there, because you know that they are going to be, well, I tell you, I know that they are going to be interested. So trust me on that. Now, I want to transition in the last point. So to recap, we've talked about why speakers are not getting paid. We mentioned what you need to monetize your speaking business. We talked about the one thing to do that will get you booked in 2019. And then I want to mention one last thing, which is what will matter even more in 2019 in the speaking industry. What is the thing that will matter even more? Now, there is something here which is called social media, and there is something here that is called having an audience, and there is something here that is called building a following. That's what I'm talking about. That's the thing that will matter even more in 2019. Because if you're a speaker right now, you need to become the celebrity and the authority in your field. If you are not that, people and event organizer will more likely, not always, but more likely, 9 times out of 10, go for that speaker. And in particular, if you want to be paid as a speaker, you need to become a celebrity in your field and build a larger following. Because now the speaking industry and the digital media industry, they are merging. It happened last year, it happened the year before, it's been going on in the background for a few years, but right now even more. In fact, there are a lot of speakers that they say are speakers, and then you look at their social media profile, you find nothing about them as a speaker. And if I'm an event organizer, which I do, I also organize events with external speakers. The first thing I do is to look at your profile online. If you can be the most amazing speaker in the world, but if your profile online sucks, I'm not gonna get you on my stage. And I'm not the only one to use this criteria. Actually, the majority of the event organizers will do that. And in particular, if you're sending emails or if you're doing cold calls to event organizers to have an interest, to say, hey, this is what I can do for you, and you don't have that profile on the social media that will talk about what you do, who you are, what you stand for, what you can provide, what you talk about, what topics are relevant, then you're already out of the game. You're already out of the game. Because if right now in 2018, 2019, having a strong social media profile and a strong following is going to be the foundation for any speaking gigs that you will have. And also invite you not to divide the live speaking gigs and online speaking gigs that you will have. Because sometimes you can have online speaking gigs in front of hundreds of thousands of people from the comfort of your home. With a Christmas decoration in the freaking background. Because now people are spending more and more time online. It's more comfortable, it's more convenient rather than going to an event. But it doesn't mean that they're not the right audience for your message, or they're not the right audience for your product or services if you're selling something. Actually, it makes the process even easier. So you need to focus online as much as you're focusing offline. Those two areas, now before you could just contact event organizers, maybe 5-10 years ago. But right now I'm working with a lot of great speakers, a lot of incredible speakers, and they've been paid 10, 15, 20K as keynotes for years. Now they see that they are not getting booked as much because they don't have a strong digital profile. Which means that the event organizer are transitioning from those established speakers to the ones that maybe they are a bit newer, but they have a strong digital profile. because now they can share their event to their followers. They can also help the event organizer to get more people in the room. And also for an event organizer is a huge exposure. I mean, if you as a speaker, you have an audience of 100, 200,000 people. Mine combined are close to about 50,000 followers. That means that this event where I'm speaking at can get close to 50,000 followers, can get exposed to that amount of people. In fact, for me, my main priority for next year, because still investing in how to become great at speaking, but from the feedback I had, take, but it's still an ongoing process. I got the product, I got the service, and we are still improving that, but we know it sells, is proven, I've done it over and over again. So that tick. I'm contacting more event organizers, but I'm going to focus to build a much stronger social media following. Because at the moment, I've been focusing to build my following offline, and in particular my network and of event organizers. And that's how I've been able to book so many gigs. But I haven't focused too much on building a huge following. I have a fairish larger following, but not huge. And now it's time to build that huge following for myself, for GTeX, so then we can leverage even bigger opportunities and speak to even bigger stages and connect with even more incredible event organizers and other authorities in their field. Just already happy that I'm already speaking. I've already spoken with Dr. John DeMartini, with Jarek Robbins, interviewed Frank Kern for this podcast. A lot of great authorities in their field. But it's just the beginning for me. I want now to expand the audience to new levels. And if you're already a great speaker with great product and great services, you're already making money, that also should be your focus too. And if you're starting out as a speaker, it needs to be a focus that goes parallel alongside contacting event organizers, refining your product and services, and becoming a great speaker. So this is where you need to focus on. And this is how the speaking industry is working in 2019. To give another example, one of my clients, she's awesome, incredible. This is Lava Dobreva. Now, she built an audience with hundreds of thousands of people. And she never set out to be a speaker. She never woke up one day and said, I want to be a speaker. Actually, not in her plans. What she said is, I want to be an online influencer. So she became an online influencer, but what happened? She got asked to speak left, right, and center. She got booked for a TEDx talk, I think in Mexico or Guatemala, I don't remember. And they paid for her flight, even on a TEDx talk. They paid for a flight, paid for accommodation. She get booked on retreats all over the world. She get international speaking gigs, and she never asked once, can I speak there? Never. Always event organizers coming to her saying, hey, can you speak here? In fact, one of the first events that she had, I remember we had a call, and that was a few years ago. She said, oh, I'm a bit freaking out because I'm great at delivering the content online, but I never delivered the content offline. Which is a very similar skill, a bit different because you are in front of a live audience, but she killed it. And now she's also working and becoming even better at delivering, so then she can stand out even more when she has a live event or an online platform. So think about where are you taking your speaking business? Think about the trends that are happening, and then align yourself to those trends. That's why it's crucial for you to know the ins and outs of your industry. One of the reasons why I've been able to be so successful in this industry, for this very reason. I'm passionate about this industry. I love it. I'm a sucker for it. And I want to know everything that is going on. Who are my competitors? What they sell? What they talk about? What people are buying? What's the size of the industry? What are the trends in this industry? What was working in the past that is not working right now? What was working in the past that is now is coming back? What's going to work in the future? What new trends and technologies are going to happen? And if you have this passion for your industry, you will always be on top, ahead of everyone else. And that's how you're going to stand out. That's how you're going to get booked consistently. That's how you're going to get the clients you want. That's how you're going to make the money you want. That's how you're going to get the freedom you want, if that's what you want in your business, or the impact. Maybe you want to have just a lot of money to do a lot of charity work and give a lot of work away for free. Awesome. Do that. But know your industry, know what's going on, and work on these 4 areas. Become awesome at delivery, have great products and services, connect consistently on an ongoing basis with event organizers, and then build your profile on social media, build your audience, be seen as an authority in your field. Those 4 things, you're killing it in 2019. And if you see that, oh my God, there is so much work to do, great. I have a 5-year goal to achieve those 4 things. I started speaking, I think, 6 years ago, 6 or 7, probably 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 or 7. And I think after the 4th year, the things that I wanted started happening. But it's been 4 years of nothing. 4 years of just becoming better, speaking, becoming better. And that's how you make the difference. All right, so let me check if there are more questions here. Then we are going to wrap up. Grazie mille from Ryan. Prego, Ryan. Looking forward to seeing you as well in February. Let me send you also the details of the course that you won, that your wife won at the Christmas dinner. Then we have so Jacqueline. How do you build your following online? Check different things. I've got other podcasts on my show. If you go on www.gtex.org.uk/podcast, and then you put online, build your online presence, all these kind of keywords there in the website, you will see, actually I'm putting there in the comment, www.gtex.org.uk/podcast. A lot of resources. I'm going to send you a message as well, because we have also great trainings on our paid membership group, which is only $47 a month. And there are trainings on how to build your social media profile, how to get followers online. And actually, Desislava was one of the trainer of these incredible trainings online that we have. Thank you very much for everyone who has been watching live. For everyone that has been listening or watching the replay. Maybe you have been watching on YouTube. Remember to subscribe. You've been listening on our podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcasting platform. Subscribe. You've been watching on Facebook. Like the page. Where you are, take the action, follow me, so then you don't miss all the other content, because in the next few weeks, I'm going to also talk about a review of the biggest mistakes I've made in 2018. I'm going to talk about the plans that we have of 2019. It's really exciting. I'm going to do a special one with few influencers in the industry on the state of the industry. I'm really excited about that. What's the state of the expert industry in 2018 and what are going to be the trends in 2019? Check out, because I'm going to get 4 or 5 people in the show to talk about this all live. We're going to have a debate and a conversation on it. So check out the next few episodes. And in the meanwhile, make sure if you want also our help to explode your expert business, if you want us to help you get paid speaking engagements or speak to sell, develop your product and services, help you build your social media following, we have our course, which is closing at the end of the year, which is called Monetize Your Speaking Business. The link is in the show notes, and the link as well is in the descriptions here. Click it, you can find all the information, and you can apply. We will have a chat. If you are a good fit, we will work together. Looking forward to seeing you soon, and always remember that together we grow exponentially. Ciao.